Made in Hollywood.
The character of Tarzan has been seen in over 200 movies starting all the way back in 1918, but you've never seen him swing into action quite like this. Alexander Skarsgard gives us his take on the original action hero in The Legend of Tarzan.
Hi, I'm Samuel L. Jackson. You're watching Made in Hollywood, and you're gonna see a scene from my new movie.
I have done all I can to protect my family. Today, I buried my wife. Now I fear for my child.
I liked the characters, and I think it's very important that you get the audience emotionally invested in them. It helps to start off with an actor like yourself, whom we already love, but how do you take it to the next level?
Tell the story as it is. You relate to the other characters in the story on a real level. George Washington Williams, my character, is a bit of a rogue, a bit of an adventurer as he goes on this journey with Tarzan and his African brothers in this village. They gain a measure of respect for him because he won't give up. You are Tarzan.
I liked the fact that this wasn't necessarily a live-action remake. It was a continuation, and it's a little bit more complex. So what were your takes on Tarzan and Jane?
Well, it's very, very different, and I thought that was so refreshing when I got the script.
The way I see it and the way I like to see it is really to find the most effective, dramatic detail to really tell the story in such a way that you as an audience not only are captivated and engaged, but you're also interested on an intellectual level.
It's fun when you take a character that's so iconic and you surprise the audience.
It was not the script first. It was David Yates who called and talked to me about the character, his vision of the character, and certainly I was sold on that. I didn't need to see a script then.
We wanted it to feel like a complete experience, basically, you know, and to balance the politics of the time, which really happened, but what was happening in the Congo at that time with the exploitation of all those people, that existed, that was really happening. George Washington Williams, Sam Jackson's character, is a real human being, and probably one of the most interesting figures in history in the way he kind of exposed what King Leopold was up to.
The fact that he was based on a real person, did
Yes.
that make you develop him differently?
It gives you a different reference point for what he's done, who he is, what his experiences are, and how he got to a particular place, and why he has certain ideas and ideals at the same time. It definitely gives you a more solid starting point. There's 1,000 men down there, 20,000 more on the way. We don't stand a chance.
They go back to the jungle and slowly the layers come off and he goes from this buttoned up lord to Tarzan. And I thought that was so interesting to go that way as opposed to from in the novels or the most of the old movies where it's this ape man who slowly is introduced to humans and learns how to live in a civilized society.
You may not like who you were. You may have enemies there, but you need to go home.
I believe that when you read the script, you actually had a very specific vision in mind for what you wanted this film to look like. What was that vision?
Well, we went to Africa and we traveled around Africa, and Africa is amazing from the air, but when you get down into the sort of nitty-gritty of being in the jungle, for example, it's really hot, it's really uncomfortable, and it's really dangerous.
Action!
And so what we did was
No shooting on location.
There's very minimal shooting on location.
I need you to scream for me.
Like a damsel.
He's Tarzan. You're Jane. He'll come for you.
Margot Robbie said that the one scene where she spits in your face, she actually was doing that. She was legitimately spitting in your face.
What? Nothing worse should happen to me.
But I mean, how many times did she have to do that? Because sometimes you have to do a scene
as many
a bunch
times
of
as she had spit for.
One of my favorite moments in the film is when your character, Jane, says, any normal man would do the impossible to save the woman he loves. My husband is no normal man. I love that because you see her love and the admiration that she has for Tarzan.
Yeah. And like, as a girl, you just like the idea that this dude is gonna do anything, like go to the ends of the earth to save her. Yeah, it kind of makes you giddy.
And it was a completely different take on her because she's a little feisty.
Yeah, very defined.
A normal man can do the impossible to save the woman he loves. My husband is no normal man.